DUNE. DUNE is an action, adventure and drama sci-fi based on Frank Herbert's science fiction novel series about the son of a noble family entrusted with the protection of the most valuable element in the galaxy. Adapted to screenplay by Denis Villeneuve, Eric Roth and John Spatz, with Denis Villeneuve as director, starring Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides, Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica. And if you are new here to the channel, please make sure you subscribe, turn your bell notifications on, like, comment, engage with the content that is here on this channel, and vice versa. Going into the future, I will be doing a full reviewed filmography of Denis Villeneuve's films. So if you want to stay in touch with that, subscribe, turn your bell notifications. This will be the place for that type of content coming to the channel in November. And I just want to say, I'm sorry in advance if I sound a little bit muted or under the weather. I've got this annoying chesty cough. So if this video to what extent is cut or edited, just understand in between all that, it's probably because I'm coughing up a baby chimpanzee. So anyway, we soldier on because the spice must flow. And when I first heard about DUNE, I had no idea about it whatsoever. All that I knew that was Denis Villeneuve was a great filmmaker, and that I had watched his previous films with being Blade Runner 2049 and Prisoners being one of my personal favourites. I'm pretty sure there's many other great films that he's done, or the 8 other great films to the plethora of his work. But to me, Prisoners really did stand out, and I could solemnly say that that film was superb in every aspect. Dark, tragic. And when I heard that he was adapting this sci-fi novel that was 50 to 60 years ago, and knowing that Villeneuve has dabbled with sci-fi before with Blade Runner Arrival, it led to me to start thinking he's gonna put his stamp of authority on this and make this his own creation. And also to hear from Denis Villeneuve that it's been this long awaited dream of his to adapt DUNE. I mean, it's been well stated and it's commonly known throughout multiple interviews that he's done that he dreamed of doing this since he was a kid, since he was like 13, 14 years old, and he would be with his friends doing storyboards and compositioning shots and just being as childlike and expressive as he was at that time, thinking so way outside the box even back then. It pretty much goes to show that he was always going to do it eventually one day, because his prowess has always been there throughout his whole filming career. And since the release of this film, there's been the word of masterpiece being thrown about by a lot of people. And to say that something is a masterpiece, it has to have absolutely no flaws whatsoever. And to this question, there are 2 answers. The first being, I will say that Denis Villeneuve has outdone himself with this film. And I can't imagine being him right now, knowing that you've adapted something you've always dreamed about doing and you've hit it out of the park. And the second part of that answer will be answered at the end of the video, because in between all of that, we have to go through the qualities and the discrepancies with DUNE, if there are. That's the hook of this video. So I'll say that the opening of DUNE is well crafted. It's got this instant hook to the film. It's an opening that's very similar to Tenet. It just kind of just throws you in there. You're amongst the action, and it just goes gun-ho, kitchen sink action from the get-go. And that really took me back. I was like, this is not really the gear of thinking with Villeneuve. He doesn't really throw you in like that in a such of a manner, right? So I was pleasantly surprised by that. And to add, the scale, the scope of this film is gigantic, gargantuan. Greg Fraser and Villeneuve, Greg Fraser's cinematography and Villeneuve's directing, it's both brilliantly accompanied each other. It almost feels like you can taste the atmosphere that this film is presenting to its audience. And it's not, very rarely does a film give you this visceral, ethereal kind of feeling. And to add, which makes the whole film this kind of transcendent audio-visual experience, is this unique soundtrack from Hans Zimmer, which just absolutely just complements the whole story of Dune in such a way. And like that, like cinematography with that, it just, basically what I'm trying to say is, if you haven't seen this film, bruh, I don't know what you are doing, because all I'm saying is, if you haven't seen the film, stop what you're doing and go watch the film. Stop the bloody review right now and go book tickets and watch the film, because it's that damn good. If you're a Greg Fraser fan, you would know that he is doing the cinematography for the Matt Reeves Batman film coming in March. And that's got to get you excited. And boy, does Greg Fraser like his hallway sequences. And just to give another point for cinematography would be the cinematography of the Landsred houses of the Imperium. The way that they captured Caladan, which is this lush kind of wet kind of Western looking society. And then you've got the planet of Arrakis, which is this isolated desert. And you can feel the heat bouncing off the screen. Because most of the locations, I believe that for Caladan they shot in Norway, and for Arrakis they shot in Jordan in the Middle East. But it goes to show as well that a film can hold so much more of its character if it's done in person, and that you don't need to have a green screen. If you can go there and shoot there, definitely do that. But as we know, with the majority of Hollywood, they don't take that avenue. They'd rather just, to get something done as quickly as possible, throw up a green screen, some good visual effects, and then it's done. But then at the same time, it takes away from, I think, what an audience could wholesomely experience. And Dune doesn't cheapskate its audience with its visuals, and there's a sense of complete realism with Dune. We had a look at Getty Prime, the Harkonnen planet, where I only had to say for maybe a brief 5 kind of minutes, maybe 3-5 minutes. I look forward to seeing what that planet looks like in the second Dune, and also the harsh environment of Seleucia Secundus as well, with the Sardaukar. I mean, it's truly one of those moments in the film where it's like, this feels like it's rated 15. It's kind of like, for one scene, it's like, yeah, Villeneuve's like, there's no other way we can do this introduction of the Sardaukar in any other manner. And it has to be shown to the audience in this way. And yeah, great job on that front of showing the brutality of the Sardaukar on Seleucia Secundus. Now, if you know about Denis Villeneuve's style, he's this director that chooses drama first before action. And that's generally the way when I do film, that is what I'm going for as well. Because if you don't feel for the characters in the scenarios that they're under, then the action doesn't matter. So that you're just watching people, in a way, you're just watching a film of people go through emotions. And that's never something you really want to watch. I mean, if that is the case, then you might as well watch one of them reality TV shows, to put it quite frankly. But when I say, from what I said in the beginning of this video, that Denis Villeneuve has outdone himself, is that I felt like in this film, more than ever than all of his previous other films, that he was more consistent with the action. And I'm sitting there, I watch it on IMAX because, a real G's got to do that. Every 5 minutes, there's a training segment, there's a fight, there's espionage. I'm like, he's really cranked it up a lot. And I'm like, man, this guy, he ain't holding back. I was like, yo, I was like, yo, you done your thing, bro. Let's talk heroes and villains. Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides does a great job of playing a character that he's thrown into a situation. He's been, the Atreides family have been thrown into this death trap. He has all of these things to aspire to be a leader, and also, set an example to his mother as well at the same time. That he can be a leader, and it feels like his character is being pulled at arm's length, and people say that, Timothée Chalamet's performance can come across as stoic and this and that, but if you're in the book, he's 15 years old, you would feel this air of alienation and being adrift and lost, because as much as this is the story about Dune, it's this story of perspective through Paul Atreides, where it is this coming of age story with him and finding who he truly wants to be, which is another nice added factor within this, the lore of Dune. Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica, and just as much as we see Paul Atreides being pulled in every direction, it's a similar thing of what we see with Lady Jessica, and she sees that through her perspective of things are just happening so quickly, and it's like this once young innocent boy she once knew is being thrown into all these treacherous places, and all that she can do is just kind of bear witness. And I think with Rebecca Ferguson capturing the vulnerability of a mother, I can only imagine that's how a mum feels when they send out their child into the real world, and that constant thinking process of, are they going to be okay? Are they safe? Or will they rise to the occasion? Will they, and I think that through Rebecca Ferguson's performance, I think she captured that brilliantly. With Rebecca Ferguson, with Lady Jessica, being a Bene Gesserit, part of the sisterhood, the Gom Jabbar scene in the beginning of the film was done really well. I had to give that a mention because that was all done really well with some great suspense and storytelling. Now let's talk about Harkonnens and the Sardaukar, because when I left the movie, I was thinking to myself, I really wish I got more with the Sardaukar and the Harkonnens. I really did wish, But then at the same time, I hear a lot of people say that Villeneuve was being as respectful to the book as he could do, because throughout the film itself and through the Baron's performance, everything's in third person, as to their feud with Atreides and so on and so forth, and it makes you feel, you know, it just kind of raises questions of, well, why, what's the big deal? But with Stellan Skarsgård, he had to really bring this interpretation of the vile, vulgar man through his performance of his acting. And had Stellan Skarsgård's acting not been up to par, then I don't think people would have grasped the idea of a grotesque, burly, fat man that can hover above the ground with suspenders on. So, you know, I've got to give him credit for that. And the thing is, let's say if he had put a first person ideology in this film, then you can say he's not being faithful to the book and he's changing it. But that's what I would have wanted. But then at the same time, if you do that, you're not being faithful to the book. So I've kind of let that go, you know, and we will see where things will take us in the second film. And now for the second answer to the question, is Dune a masterpiece? And I will say that the ending of Dune is no different to the ending of The Last of Us. Because the story that we are watching is not the story of a hero. We are watching the story of really a villain. And this is the crazy thing. And when you look more deeply, especially what I see is with Paul Atreides and you know, the three or the other, how many other films are going to come from this saga or franchise, is the reason why the mad thing is, the reason why everything's going to go to shit in the future, the galaxy of the Imperium, is because Paul Atreides does everything out of love and he can't live with betrayal. And it goes with the saying of love is blind. And I think that is the thing that will blow people's minds. And people will say, oh, but this ending ends abruptly. But I think what will happen when, fingers crossed, Villeneuve will get to do his 3 films, and when people go back to the first film, it will be like, oh my God. You know, when Paul Atreides and Lady Jessica are walking with the Fremen, you're going to be screaming at your TV saying, no, go back. Go to Caladan, motherfucker. Don't do it. Right? And the reason why I say this, people, is because I've dabbled in parts of the 6 novels, and I haven't a gist of where we're going to go, basically. And man, and do you know what's crazy? This film is 2.5 hours long, and I think we've only captured about 3 or 4% of Dune. It's insane. And to conclude, Dune gets a 10 out of 10 from me. It joins the Champions Academy here on the channel. And you guys, if you don't know about what the Champions Academy is, it is a playlist that I've comprised of all my favourite TV series and movies. And if you want to know a little bit more about what I think is the best or whatever, I'll put the link in the description or as one of the info boxes on my video so that you can watch it. But guys, thank you all for watching. I'm gonna try and drink another hot beverage or something to clear this fucking gnarly throat, and I will see you in the next video. Subscribe, comment, like, share the video as well, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.